Hello, everybody. It's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday. How are you today, my friends? I hope you have had a fabulous weekend. Let me just adjust my camera right here for a quick second. There we go. I hope you're all doing well this evening. It is a blustery, cold day in East Tennessee. Let me just tell you, there are several inches of snow on the ground. It is freezing cold. So all you northern folks, please come and get your weather out of my backyard. Oh, cold. Hi, Miss Carol. Welcome back from the north, by the way. We're so happy to have you back down here where we're looking forward to spending some time with you again. Thank you all so much for being here this evening. I see folks are coming in. Say hello. Hello, how are you? And please share this video. I would love for you to share it with your friends, and we'll get some more crafty friends up in here, so it'll be a great time. All right, guys, tonight I am sharing this super fun, super quick, simple, easy, beautiful Valentine's card because, oh my goodness, Valentine's Day is coming up in just a couple of weeks, and I just took my Christmas tree down today. Actually, I have to say that Mr. Stampin' Chick, Mr. Matthew, Tinker Tom, aka, has been wonderful in helping me out today. He took the tree down after I got all the decorations off of it and even helped move the boxes down into storage. So it was wonderful, but we got everything done, everything cleaned up. And just in time for the next holiday. All right. So speaking of next holidays, Valentine's Day, right? Hey there, Miss Linda. How are you? Miss Luann. Hi, ladies. Thank you all so much for coming. All right. So we are using the Sweet Talk collection and the Heart Punch bundle. Now, if you don't have these, they were in the spring catalog last year and in the annual catalog now. And I absolutely love these punches. And I'm telling you, I use them not just for Valentine's Day, but for just about any occasion that's heartfelt in any way, shape, or form. These are a perfect pair of punches to use for sentiments. So as you can see on my card right here, I've got the double layers. This is from the punch. So you've got the scalloped heart punch and then the straight heart punch, and they fit together beautifully. So we're using those. I'm also going to be using the Sweet Conversations stamp set and dies, but I'm actually not going to be using, I am going to be using the dies because I didn't pre-die cut them, but that's okay. I'll show you those too. And I have a fun little tip, trick, whatever for you. Today I am doing a blog hop with the Crafty Collaborations crew, and the theme of the blog hop is zero waste. So it's all about reduce, reuse, recycle, and I have a fun little trick that I think I've shared with you before, but it's worth mentioning again because it's one that I use pretty often, and it's just going to knock your socks off, and it's a wonderful way to reduce the amount of paper that we use, right? So I'll show you that as well. Okay, we've got this here. We're also going to use the beautiful real red faux linen ribbon. This is from the Sweet Talk collection as well. And actually, we're going to be using a bit of the collection. So we're using the Stampin' Die bundle. We're using the beautiful designer series paper, and we're going to be using this wonderful faux linen ribbon. So it's really pretty. And let me get the rest of my supplies here. So we're going to be using a piece of basic black cardstock. It measures 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4.25. So this is our card base. Of course, we're going to burnish that line down there. So this will be the base of the card. We'll need a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 4 inches by 5.25 inches. This is going to go on the inside of the card. Because the card base itself is dark, we need to have something on the inside for us to be able to write on, right? So this will be the inside layer. We're going to need a layer that measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and this is real red cardstock. We're going to have a few layers in this card today. So as you can see here in my sample, I've got real red, blushing bride, and then basic white. And I pulled the colors in from the designer series paper, so I really liked having the 2 different layers of color here. But because I was doing 2 different layers, I made the borders really thin. I love this look, and it's a great way to add multiple colors and still have plenty of card front to decorate, right? So that's great. So that first layer is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and as you can tell, it just leaves a tiny little black border all the way around. Now we're not going to attach this yet. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Then we're going to use a piece of blushing bride cardstock that measures the standard 4 inches by 5.25 inches. And as you can see when I put it together here, it's a very thin layer as well, or a very thin border. So this is going to build up our borders, which is really nice. And then the last piece that we have is basic white cardstock. It's 3 7/8 inch by 5 1/8 inch, and that's going to be the front of our card here. And then we'll have a little strip of designer series paper that measures 3/4 of an inch by that 5 1/8 of an inch. And then our ribbon is going to be approximately 13 inches of ribbon. But as you know, I like to tie it directly from the spool, so I'll be doing that. But I want to show you my quick tip and fun way of really getting the most bang for my buck and really getting a good use of paper. So this is the real red layer that I'm going to be putting right here on my card base first. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and punch and die cut some pieces right out of this paper. Now I'm not worried about it at all because I have such skinny borders here. That blushing bride cardstock is going to cover up all of these holes. So as long as I leave a nice edge around that I'm not cutting into, I can cut this whole area, which if you saw my blog post today, when I was assembling this card, I took a picture of the real red layer so that you could see all the holes I cut out. And I cut a lot. So all of this I die cut and punch from this one piece of cardstock, right? So I've got the little layering hearts here, which gave me all of these little tiny hearts, and I'll have to do that again because I meant to do it again earlier and I didn't. So, and then I had this piece here, and let me scoot this over, and one of these here, one of these here. You get the idea. You can just layer in all of the bits, and as long as you're keeping a nice border all the way around, look at all that stuff you can die cut and punch from this one layer of cardstock that would otherwise be tucked behind this layer of cardstock and would never get used, right? So when I put this layer on, there are no more holes in this paper, and no one's the wiser because it's going to be layered onto the black cardstock too. So that layer is sandwiched between 2 solid layers of cardstock. And so even when I put this layer on, I could rub over it and I still won't feel it, which is absolutely wonderful, right? Okay, now I do need to go ahead and do a little bit of die cutting though, because like I said, I meant to die cut this strip here, and while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and die cut that one, and maybe I'll just do a little set of them here. That way, you know, I can go ahead and have another round. And let me just scoot this stuff over and I will bring in my big shot. I've actually got my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine set aside for my class coming up. I have a private class this weekend, so I'll use my regular big shot here. So let me just set this up, and there you go, if you guys would like to see what I'm doing. And I have my magnetic platform, and unfortunately my my plate on this one is getting a little bit warped. It needs to be replaced. So instead of fighting with that magnet, I'm going to go ahead and set all this up here, so that way I can just tape it down. So let me see. And this doesn't have to be something, I mean, you know, I could stop right here, and maybe I will. Just go ahead and stop there and add those items in, and I can die cut them right quick. There we go. Put a little tape down just so I'm not fussing with that magnet. That's not a fun thing to do when you're on a live video. It's a little nerve-wracking. So we'll just do this right quick. And, you know, I'm running it through the machine. And you can see my plates are a little bit warped. I've been doing a lot of cutting lately, so I need to replace them. And I always like to use them up until I can't use them anymore. And that's another way of reduce, reuse, and recycle, right? Okay, there we go. Let me get this out of the way. And I'll just pull these out. I'm not going to worry about popping those out right now. The only things I needed to worry about were the little hearts right here. The rest of this stuff I'm going to save for another project later. So you'll want to just keep an eye out for that. Alright, there we go. And then I happen to have a piece of white cardstock here so that I can punch the white layer heart. So I'll bring that in. Alright, now we've got what we need here. And the last thing I need is that little strip of Designer Series paper. Now that was a really good one to use. So let me grab that one back out here, and I'm just going to cut a 3/4 inch strip. Here we go. And then it's 5 1/8 inch long. I've got quite the mess going over here. I've been doing Valentine's cards all day long, so I have a huge mess of hearts and love and lots of cute things. Okay, here we go. The first thing we'll do here is just tack this layer down. And I'm not worried if I put some adhesive over any of these holes, because, you know, that Blushing Bride cardstock is going to go right over the top of it. So it's going to hide all of that, all right? So what we want to do is just line up with that edge, and it really is a fine little edge. Let me get that paper out of the way. And then I'm going to grab my Blushing Bride cardstock, and we'll put this layer on. Now, you could go ahead and do some punching and die cutting on this layer if you'd like as well. The only thing I would caution is that because it's built up in 2 layers here, if you were to punch a hole here that lined up with this hole here, and then you put the basic white cardstock over it, if you ran your fingers across it, you would definitely feel a hole, because at that point it's not just one layer of cardstock built up, it's 2 layers, so you would actually feel it then. However, how many people actually just run their fingers along the front of a card unless it has texture to it, right? So, you know, the likeliness of a person actually doing that is probably pretty slim. However, you need to know that just in case, so that you don't try it at home and then say, oh man, she said you couldn't feel it, but you can. Yes, if you do 2 layers, you would probably feel it. So just be wary of that. All right. We have our 5 1/8 by 3/4 inch strip of Designer Series paper here. And you know what? I hate having to choose which side of the paper to use, because they're always so pretty, aren't they? But this is the one that we want to use because it coordinates nicely with our color scheme here. So I'm going to just slide that into place. Looks like I cut it just a skosh short, but it's really not going to matter because we're going to put that ribbon right over the top of it. And I'm just going to take it, like I said, directly from the spool. And we'll bring it around, and it's approximately 13 inches. Más o menos, you know, it'll be just a little bit more or less. So here we go. Tie it into a knot, because I know how much my fans love to tie bows. So we'll do a knot instead. As my girls are sitting back cackling because they don't like to tie bows. But that's okay. This ribbon does really nicely for a knot, and this card lends really nicely for a knot as well. So we'll just do that and it'll be great. All right, now let me trim the ends. I haven't frayed this ribbon yet, but it looks like it would fray really, really nicely. So I may have to try that really soon. So here we go. Let me put some adhesive along the back side. As you know, I'm just kind of keeping my hand on here because my camera likes to zoom in and out. Ooh, not the inside, friend. Likes to zoom in and out when I have white cardstock. So let me see if I can get this on here before it does that to us now. And again, with the thin border, you're just going to kind of line it up with the edges there. All right. Very nice. Okay, now I'm going to set this off to the side, and I'm going to bring out my little white heart here, and we're going to use Memento ink. And I'm using the stamp Happy to Have You in My Life. So I love the little type fonts that are in the stamp set, and I really appreciate the 2-step stamping on here. So we've got this little solid heart and the outline, and then we have this one and this one here. And these are those cute little conversation hearts that everybody associates with Valentine's Day. So of course there are so many different options that you can do, and some really, really cute cards, which, by the way, as I said, I've been working on Valentine's cards all day because I have a Valentine's class coming up on the 27th, I believe, of this month. So we're going to be doing 2 cards and 1 treat package so that you can make your Valentine's a Valentine. So if you'd like to join me for that class, I would love to have you. And if you're not local, don't worry. I will be having a PDF tutorial up and running, I'm hoping, in the next handful of days. Oh, hold on. I popped that up on Dimensionals. Okay. Let me do this. I put Dimensionals between both layers because I had put the front layers directly onto the card base. So in that regard, I could put 2 layers of hearts and be just fine, right? Remember the golden rule about dimension and layers. When you're going to be mailing a card, you want no more than 2 layers of dimension on your card in order for it to go through with one regular US postage stamp, right? So, because I didn't have any other layers, I put dimensionals between the 2 layers of hearts, and then also on the back side of the red heart. So let's go ahead and do that. I like that. I love all of the dimension. Here we go. All right, now I'll put this here. And here's a quick snapshot if you want to see. I went back and forth for, I don't know, far too long to admit today, deciding if I wanted to leave it plain like this, which is very clean and beautiful, or if I wanted to add the little hearts, which obviously I ultimately decided to go ahead and do, and I'm going to do that this time as well. But you can see what it looks like plain if you like a more clean and streamlined card. So now I'm going to take some multi-purpose liquid glue, and let me just make sure I've got the tiniest bit of glue here, and I'm just going to kind of put the dots randomly around the front. And I know I've got 6 little hearts here that I'm going to put on, so I've got 6 dots there. There's 1, 2, 3, and oh, thank you, Linda. I'm glad that you like it. I really had fun with these cards today. There we go, and 1 more. Right about there. All right, now that's the card front, but now we still need to do the inside of the card. So you can see I've got Happy Valentine's Day, and then I brought one of those little hearts in from the little die set there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my white cardstock layer and the Happy Valentine's Day stamp and my Memento ink again. Remember, tap, 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 not smush, smush, smush. And no naked insides and no naked envelopes, of course. All right, so we'll stamp this down. Now for the envelope, I would do probably these little hearts right here. And I would go ahead and just stamp the 3 little hearts in real red ink. And that way it coordinates nicely. So let me get that and show you that as well. There we go. Got some little fuzzies from the dies, but that's okay. As soon as it dries, I can run my fingernail around it and brush off the little fuzzies. So those are okay. All right. Now we're going to add this to the inside of our card. This is something that you could do really quickly and easily for classroom or, you know, co-workers. This is a really cute little, this could be friendly or, you know, family or whatever. So this one doesn't have to be a romantic type card. All right, let me grab envelopes here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do envelopes for both of the cards. Let me set those off to the side here. I've got my envelopes, and I'm gonna grab the shadow stamp here. I need that one. And one thing that I would caution you when you're using photopolymer stamps is if they're a longer stamp or a wider stamp, it's best to lay them on a piece of paper and then, let go of me, and then line them up on the stamp, because that way you're not distorting the stamp itself, right? If I were to just try to add that to the block, this first piece would go on there, and then as I was laying it across, it might shift up or down. And by putting it on the paper first, I'm pretty well guaranteeing that it's going to be lined up okay. All right, so that's a little tip for you as well, as I'm getting red ink all over my fingers. And how about right here in the middle? There we go. I like that. Now I'll do one more since I've already got it here. There we go. And in the middle. All right. So there you have it, my friends. A super sweet, fun little Valentine's card. Valentine's is coming up, so perfect timing to start getting around and getting your Valentine's made for all the people that you know and love. All right, guys, I hope that you all have enjoyed this card. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, give it some love. Be sure to share it. I would love for you to. And yeah, so if you'd like to order any of the products, you can head over to my blog, thestampinchick.com, and see the supply list there, and just click directly over to my website, and you can get them quick and easy. You've still got time to get supplies, get the cards created, and get them out in the mail before Valentine's Day. So hurry on and do that. Don't wait. And until next time, my friends, I will see you later. Stay warm, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.